Hello and good evening. Welcome to the UN podcast. It is myself, Von B, and the new Avenger, Elton. Our other compatriot couldn't make it today, so we'll probably only go for like about an hour. Just talk about a few things in pop culture. Briefly touch on Daredevil because it was basically 55 minutes long. 10 minutes of it was interesting. So to give a brief overview of what I felt about this particular episode, yeah, it was super boring. I kind of tuned out a lot, so I will put the spoilers up, so just in case anybody wants to watch it. All right. So I'm not gonna really go into detail. It was New York sucks. The mayor can't do anything, and we get to look at the therapy of the Kingpin. Yeah, basically that was about it.
Sounds like real world problems.
No, yeah, basically what it was. He wants to do like a thing with the docs, and his one of his advisors keeps telling him, hey, you can't do this. You got to talk to this guy. You got to talk to that guy. So he's getting frustrated because he can't just do stuff. It's Kingpin. He can just do shit. Oh, stuff. It's a little too early to be cursing. Yeah, but as mayor, he can't do anything because he got to talk to this guy, talk to that guy, and he's getting frustrated. Then we get a case for like the aftermath of the White Tiger being shot. He goes to what's the where he get the bodies at the PlayStation PlayStation police station. What the hell I keep saying PlayStation? The morgue. So his niece, the guy's White Tiger's niece, comes in. She is all of 4'4", very tiny. I think she's like a small child because he mentions that she's a child shouldn't see this, but she is apparently going to be White Tiger at some point, even though she's like really tiny, like almost a dwarf tiny. So I don't know if she's just short or a little kid. All right. He runs into one of the cops. They have a whole conversation because he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And as he's pressing the cop, he realizes that the cop doesn't know what happened. So, what else? There is he's doing pro bono work, and it's a guy that's basically seems to be there to let you know how bad the system is. He stole some fiddle faddle or something, and you find out that he's been going through a rough time and he just wanted a dessert. That's why he stole it. So plea deal, he don't want the plea deal, and that's how you find out like actually what happened. And I'm looking at him as like, you have no job skills. You have been repeatedly arrested. Why do you still live in the most expensive city in America? And why am I supposed to have sympathy for you because you still live in the most expensive city in America? So you can't buy food and you own food stamps and there's all this other stuff. So I don't know what this was supposed to do. It was supposed to make me feel bad or make me give weight to the only interesting part in the thing, because he goes to the scene of the crime because the guy at the morgue said there was no bullet casing, and this is when you get a whole lot of coincidences. So he's walking up. This guy comes, like he's searching using his little superpower to find anything. Don't see it, don't sense anything. The guy comes by on the bike. He hits a bottle cap. Bottle cap rolls down the hill because he's on a hill. And he puts his cane for it and hits a bottle of one of them little wine bottles that just so happens to be there to be perfectly lined up so he can tap it. And it proceeds to roll all the way down the hill, right into the same drain, right on top of the shell case. So I'm like, really? Okay.
Talk about lucky.
Oh yeah, Yeah, there was no pebbles or anything in the way to stop it from rolling. Nothing. I'm like, all right. So then he decides to go pay a visit to the Punisher. He goes back and forth. The Punisher. So the system is screwed up, and basically the Punisher tells him is that the system is screwed up. Your buddy is dead. The dude who shot him is gonna live the rest of his life in prison eating food while your patron saint friend is dead because Matt basically tells him like he's the better of us. We don't deserve him, and so Frank was like, yeah, okay, so now your friend's dead, and you're relying on the system to do what? And you're feeling like how you're feeling because it's eating away at you because you didn't do what you needed to do, which is kill a guy. He killed my friend. You should have killed him. And then more Punisher. More Kingpin and his wife about she had an affair. Yada yada yada. I'm like, well, I don't need to know any of this. They had something with one of his assistants did something. I stopped paying attention. Then you find out at the end, the Kingpin has the dude that his wife had an affair with locked up in a cage. And so a previous episode, he had bloody knuckles. So apparently he'd been beating up on the dude. I'm like, why would you have an affair with the Kingpin's wife? That's just stupid. So again, I have zero sympathy for this guy. Like none. So essentially that's kind of how it ends. It's like for 55 minutes, 10 minutes of interesting.
What was the interesting part then?
The Punisher.
Oh, okay.
The whole conversation with the Punisher. That's when it got interesting. And they could have did the entire episode. The episode could have been 30 minutes. It would have been way more interesting than what we got. More court stuff, lawyer stuff, talking to the DA to get the guy off and da da da. Again, I was like, I'm supposed to have sympathy for this dude. You live in the most expensive city in America. You have no job skills and a very long rap sheet. I think you need to move. Move someplace where you can afford to live. Everybody doesn't get to live in New York. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Like, since you're going through all this stuff, you seem to be alone. You didn't mention anything about family, so just move. Minnesota's nice. It's a little cheaper. Florida's cheaper. There's a lot of places that are cheaper, and you can probably get a job. We use a lot of our tax dollars to allow folks who are in your position to be able to survive and get their feet up underneath them. So I'm like, if your point was to get me to feel sympathy for this dude, I don't.
I mean, did they write it like so you have so you could empathize with the?
No, I think basically this was. It felt like a filler episode, and all this stuff was to let you know how, because they kept showing all the trash on the streets. This is New York, so they were showing all the New York stuff. It's like trash. People put the trash on the thing for the trash man to come pick up that kind of stuff. So it's trying to make New York a third character or something. It's like I have no desire to live in New York, so it is making it less appealing to me. Yeah. So like you didn't miss anything. That is my brief run through of Daredevil episode 4. So let's watch this trailer for Alien Earth. All right, it's the final trailer. It's 4K. It's on FX. All that fun stuff. So let's share the screen. Here we go. All right, can you see it? Oh, can you do me a favor and turn your television down, man?
Mine?
Yeah, I can hear your television.
Oh, is it that loud?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
No, it's like when you go on a speakerphone, it doesn't seem like stuff don't seem that loud. All right, that's cool. You can probably still hear it a little bit. I'm hoping this is the actual trailer. There's a Disney Plus, and I don't know what this is on it.
All right.
But as you can see, the likes are 563. The dislikes are 1,001. Okay, so that's why. An AI trailer. So I'm trying to find. Dude, I hate. Okay, so this is. So I don't know what this is then. Maybe. Oh, there's a teaser. Okay. Maybe this one is it. Give how to like the race. This friggin' like to dislike ratio is even worse.
Getting a ratio to oblivion.
Dude, this is another. All right, I'm trying to find the damn thing, but I keep getting friggin' fake trailers, man. Yeah, this person's a fake trailer. Oh my god, dude. Bro, this is what we get to look forward to, man. Okay, so is this an actual teaser? All right, so this is a teaser trailer. The like to dislike ratio is actually within. It's fairly good. 22,000 versus 965. So this might actually be the damn trailer.
The actual trailer.
Oh my gosh. All right, so here's the teaser. It's falling to earth. Okay, that's interesting. That's actually well. It's a. I guess it's falling to earth is somehow going to survive, and what? I have no idea what happens next.
I like that alarm sounding thing.
I
think they have that like in all the alien movies, don't they?
Yeah, it's just so it's. You know what? Like today, I saw it was the first Chris Pratt Jurassic Park movie, right? And it was on one of the channels in one of the rooms at work today. And I'm looking at this, and it's like, why would you like? He's talking about his raptors. He's like, "Don't shoot my raptors. We're going up to." I'm like, why would you even make these things? There's like the whole general premise of Jurassic Park is like somebody. I'm like, bro, why are we making these things? It's like seriously. It's like one is gonna like if you just make the ones that just eat like plants and stuff, they gotta eat a lot of plants. And when they were alive, there was more oxygen, so they're like more plants. So where is it like this thing? Anything that you make will cause complete devastation if it gets loose any place. So again, like why? It kind of like reminds me of the Umbrella Corporation in the Resident Evil movie in the game. It's like why are we making this thing that makes rabid zombies that eat people and all? Like why like why are we doing this? Like what possible monetary stuff that we can get out of this? Well, this wouldn't end bad. But I say that as we constantly we have multiple companies and countries trying to make Skynet, so kind of fall in the same thing. You know, like, hey, let's re-engineer coronaviruses and see what happens.
Because that's exactly what we need.
Right, but that's basically what we do. So like when you think about it, it's like no, there's always some company, some is gonna do something where nobody who works there just sits back and does the Ian Malcolm thing. It's like, yeah, it's nice that we can make this, but why are we doing this? And that turned into 8 movies or whatever. And what I am curious about with the Jurassic Park movies though is like the last one. Like where does it take place? Because as far as the last Pratt one, dinosaurs are loose all over the planet, and everyone's cool with that. Like, what? Like, why are we? Why are y'all cool with this? You know, like the Velociraptor that can make its own children doesn't need a male Velociraptor to make babies.
This is
And
fine.
Yeah, and it's like living in the back of his house, in the forest behind his house with his old lady and his adopted mutant daughter, and it's just fine. It's like it made a baby by itself, so that means that the baby that it made by itself can make a baby by itself. It may have two. It may have three. You can wind up in 20 years with like thousands of these things in the forest running around that are 6 feet tall and eat people. Yeah. Should we?
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Should we tell people? Yeah, maybe we should let the government know that these things are self-replicating. That never goes awry. All right, so that teaser trailer was like a super teaser trailer, but there's also another thing. Have you seen the Batman versus Batman or Two-Face State Farm commercial? I've heard about
No, I don't think so. No.
All right, so I've heard about this. This is another quick thing. All right, let me go share this. All right. See, if I'm that white dude who was what was his name, Jeff from State Farm, I'd be pissed because I just got to be in a khaki outfit for like a year.
Jake.
Jake from State Farm. This dude gets to be Batman, going to like basketball games.
Right? Like really though. You get to meet like all these celebrities and
right. So
they're not gonna employ anyone else.
All right, so this is the extended one. This one is like a minute long. So, all right, you ready?
Ready?
State Farm.
I haven't seen
No, you're joking.
As havoc continues across Gotham City, it seems our only hope is Batman.
Batman?
Yeah, close enough. Bateman. Gotta tell you, the suit really bunches up in the old Batcave, if you know what I mean.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need the protection of Batman.
Easy, Batemobile, not too fast, baby.
Riddle me this.
What is dusk? You don't have to answer in the form of a question. What is
You
dawn?
don't need to answer like that.
Do something, Bateman!
Yeah, okay.
Stop. Whoa, cat lady. Time out.
Wow.
Nice fanny bag.
Thank you. Rude. What is love?
All right.
What isn't love, you know? Just toss him.
Not all protection's the same.
Any last words?
Just one. It's a long one. Dermatologist.
That's why you need a real deal.
Look out! That's Batman! Oh.
Go home, Bateman. Do a podcast or something.
That's hurtful.
Citizens need help as vandalism spikes. Police
Never
say
play with poison
suspect
ivy.
is Poison ivy.
Oh, someone's a flirt.
Bateman, please.
Yeah, this is feeling much more Batman to me.
Are you serious, bro?
When it comes to protection, you wouldn't settle for Bateman when there's Batman. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Don't touch that.
Well, now I want to touch it more. Oh boy, party clown. Listen, if we're gonna be roomies, no juggling, no magic, no balloon animals. I don't want any weird clown stuff, okay?
That was a fun commercial. I am proud to be a State Farm member.
What the hell, dude?
That was funny.
State Farm is doing Batman better than Warner Brothers.
Actually, yes.
Oh my god. Dude.
Actually, though.
Yeah. I like I said, I did find the article on that, and let's see if I can just kind of go on. Oh, you heard about this? Apparently, you know how Apple. Oh, you all right?
That's not me.
Oh, that's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently Apple TV Plus is losing $1 billion a year despite streaming hits such as Severance and Silo.
That's a lot. 1 billion.
Bro, they got like 2 trillion sitting in a bank someplace, so I think they're good. All right, so according to a paywall report by the Information, the brand is losing over $1 billion a year due to overspending on its original programming. Yeah, because they're trying to make movies and stick it on their streaming service that hardly anybody has. In an effort to lower spending costs, but only managed to cut about $500,000, according to the report. This expenses at $4.5 billion versus the $5 billion it had been spending yearly since it launched streaming app Apple Plus in 2019. All right, so original programming Apple Plus is highly regarded both critically and from the audience perspective. Too bad they can't get people to actually give them money to watch it. So the people who do give them money really like it, which is great. Like Severance, Silo, and Foundation look impeccable. There's certainly nothing about that streams cheap. Mindset that gives all the give way to the kinds of critical reception that these shows garner. All right, 96%. Who cares about Rotten Tomatoes? Silo, 92%. So critics like it, which doesn't really mean anything to me. Does that mean anything to you?
I think it used to like a lot more. It still kind of does for me, but I'm surprised. What is like the biggest part of their costs? Is it the production or the?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty much, dude. They remember Napoleon. They're like a whole $200 million movie, and they put it on their streaming service.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dude, it's Apple. They got more money than they know what to do with. It's like freaking was it Amazon? It's the same thing. It's like they put Amy Pascal and some other schmuck in charge of James Bond. You know that's not gonna make any money. There'll be some feminist wet dream that nobody's gonna want to watch.
Can't wait for that one.
Right, but if you got more money than you know what to do with, you're like, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's not really that. Like, I don't have Apple Plus, so Apple TV Plus.
Well, yeah. I do have some more information on the Alien thing that we watched. All right, Alien Earth, first clip from Noah Hawley's FX series, highlights a terrifying xenomorph attack. Following some brief promos, FX have finally released a full teaser from the Alien Earth, which begins as the first clip from the upcoming sci-fi horror series. The footage finds a man sitting in a Nostromo-esque control room as his crewmate desperately tries to convince him to open the door and let her in. The woman then turns to face whatever has been stalking her, and we get a first look at one of the show's xenomorphs on the attack. Hawley has hinted that the series will introduce a new breed of the iconic creature, though it's difficult to make out any significant changes to the classic design. All right, so here's a clip. All right, so I did see this, but I thought it was an old show.
How do you think it will work being a series as opposed to like a movie?
It depends on the premise. Like, is it just loose? Because then how do you fill that out into a TV show?
Yeah.
It's on unfamiliar terrain. I don't even know what these things eat, or if it like we've seen it. It can't, on spaceships, so it can handle oxygen. You've seen the original planet that it was from, and humans had to wear space like suits because they couldn't breathe the air there.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself not having much faith in modern Hollywood writers because, dude, they had how many times have they failed to, like, stuff just kind of happens. Case in point, what I told you about Daredevil. Just happens to have a thing that he needs to find the thing that he needs. Because
talk about good luck.
Right, and they don't know how to write it so that it's somewhat believable. Instead of just having them find the bullet casing, and he gets a hold, and he sneaks in. So instead of having him do the thing where the bottle rolls down the hill and it go into the thing or whatever, have them have found the bullet casing, and because the cops are crooked, they kind of hit it, or have them kind of figure out a way to get to the thing or something like that. That seems way more feasible than what they showed.
True.
Like, it's coincidence after coincidence. And I have that same feeling when it comes to any like science fiction. I would have to like see an episode. So it's like one of these things we probably would have to watch it just to get a gist of it.
Just to see, yeah. Uh-huh.
It's gonna be on Hulu, so I can watch it when it comes out. I don't know. So, and
it doesn't look bad. I mean, I think it looks.
It looks cool.
I guess. Yeah,
right. It looks cool. It's just his looks can be deceiving, kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can find the Looney Tunes thing. We can do that next. But at least something as good is at least starting to be filmed. Season 3 of House of Dragon.
Wow, that feels like ages ago.
Right. Yeah, so a pivotal battle from the George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood would appear on screen in House of Dragon Season 3. The success of the Game of Thrones and its spin-off series, first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, yes. Or 5.5. Then the last ones were shit. The spin-off series centered around the Targaryens, House of Dragon, are undeniable, while production has been ongoing since the start of 2024. Filming has officially begun, starting with an iconic battle from George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood book, Battle of the Gullet. The Game of Thrones prequel is based on Fire and Blood. Yeah. Production of Season 3, House of Dragons, probably begun. Damn, you keep repeating yourself. March 21st, so 2 days ago. A major sea battle is one of the first scenes in line to be filmed. As shared by Unbox a PhD on X, one of the sets of the House of Dragons new season appears to be a sea battle. There you go.
Ooh.
You see.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks very
medieval. Yeah, but especially especially with the rebar and the
Yeah, it just looks so. Yeah,
it's just screaming medieval.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's a better picture. Here's a better picture. There you go. Just sucks you right in, right?
I can feel the ocean breeze.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. The magic of Hollywood.
All right.
Okay. What House of Dragon production will now beginning in the Battle of Gullet, set seemingly constructed. It likely this will be one of the first events to be filmed and will feature early in the new season. Other photos of the House of Dragon season 3 have been teased. New scenes filmed at King's Landing and in the Red Keep. All right. About the Battle of Gullet is one of the major naval battles occurring that occurred during the Targaryen Civil War between the Greens and the Blacks, as had been in the TV show House of Valerian, which is allied with Rhaenyra Targaryen, and the Blacks took control of the Gullet in the Blackwater Bay, controlling access to King Landing shortly after the start of the war. Oh yeah, the little blockade thing, dude. It's been so long, I completely forgot about that shit.
Yeah.
So what he said, I'm like, oh yeah. So I was like, what? I'm like, okay. Disrupt these plans. Ottoman Targaryen suggested they reach out to try, with the female captain chick pirate who wanted to sleep with whoever that dude who they sent over there, so he can make her with babies. So she's gonna go fight with babies. All right, to convince them to move against their enemy, Prince Daemon, who beat them brutally, as seen in season 1. Okay. Dude, my mouse is killing me because it has like a little click thing. If you press down too hard, it clicks, so then it scrolls quick.
Oh.
But it has no grooves in it, so it's like really slick. So my finger, yeah, it is basically saying that I need to buy another one. Okay, so Vermax is wounded by a cross. Jace managed to survive. He is killed by opposing crossbowmen. I am trying to remember who these two people are.
Kids.
Vermax and Jace. The kids?
Vermax is the dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the
And
kid
then
is
Jace is the son of Rhaenyra.
oh, so another kid's
Yeah.
gotta die. They keep killing their children. Like, like, bro, I don't think this is gonna end well. But y'all keep offing the kids, and she getting more and more pissed. Oh, are you looking forward? Oh, okay. Are you looking forward to this?
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, but
Or
are you
like
looking forward?
teaser photos.
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
If they don't screw it up, I don't know.
Oh, it's gonna be screwed. The whole premise of this thing was messed up from the beginning. She was supposed to be the DEI replacement of Tony Stark.
Yeah, I remember you told me this.
Right. So they're gonna put out a show that's based off a movie that didn't do that well, with a character in it. Most people who didn't go see the movie will have no clue who this is. Basically come across as some black chick in one of Tony Stark's armors.
That's the way I looked at it as.
Right. So it's like,
yeah,
he takes off. Part of the reason why this chick does, like, when they introduce these characters in these like in the comics or whatever, they don't have anybody to fight. So everybody who they fight has to be some convoluted thing where they fight the villains of the person that they're trying to replace. So it's like, why would anybody do like this? That's the problem with Miles Morales. He doesn't have any his own villains. So basically, what he fights are Spider-Man villains, and why the hell would they attack him? But they don't even know who the hell he is.
yeah, it's
Like,
different. So it's gonna be like that for this show too, like for Ironheart.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's like, all
probably.
right, so okay, so you got Batman, right, and then you have Dick Grayson, the first Robin. He gets too old. He gets too old to in his mind to be Robin, like when he turns like 18. All right. He gets into it with Bruce about something that he wants to branch out. He's doing he's like they've had him with the Teen Titans and all that stuff. So he's been doing stuff as Robin, but they have a falling out when he becomes an adult. Right. So he gets fired by Batman. He leaves the mansion. He has a couple of little whatever. He winds up having a conversation with Superman about how he wants to be his own guy. So Superman tells him a story about a Kryptonian hero named Nightwing. So he's inspired by that story. So therefore he decides to take up the moniker Nightwing. So he does his own thing. He gets back in the good graces of Bruce, but he doesn't want to be Robin or anything like that again. So what he does is he eventually moves to another city that's close to Gotham, but it's like down the way, and it's actually worse than Gotham, if you can imagine that. So right, it's called Bloodhaven. So basically, imagine New Jersey to New York, right? So Gotham is New York, Bloodhaven is New Jersey, right?
Okay.
Right. So the route that he doesn't want to do what Bruce does because he wants to be his own guy. So what he does is he joins the police. He becomes a cop, and he goes through the whole thing. Bruce thinks he's crazy, but he's a cop. He goes through the whole point, but he slowly builds his own enemies because Bloodhaven has its own criminals. So he some of them move from Gotham and they have their own homegrown kind of thing. So it's like each one of these characters, you could have done that if in how you slowly, but this takes years. This long time, right? This takes a long time. And then now you got, because of the connection with Batman, he still fights some Batman villains, like some. But for the most part, he has enough of his own thing that he has numerous books about him. Like spy stuff. It's like all kind of crazy stuff. So they should have done that with Miles Morales. And if you wanted Tony Stark to have not a replacement, but like a teen version or whatever of him, you could have did the exact same thing with this. Ever be a prodigy that catches his attention. He, for some reason, decides to mentor her or whatever. And then she just branches off at some point when she gets old enough. They should have did that with Miles. That way you could have slowly give Miles his own villains. Right, but they're such in a rush to replace the white dudes with people of color
that they don't really flesh out their own character. Besides the villains, they don't really flesh. Well, I mean, they have their own story, but yeah, the fact that they are recycling the villains, it's like, well.
Right. So what is this show going to be about? Like, she basically steals the idea of the Iron Man armor, builds it herself because she's a super genius somehow. Oh, she from the Wakanda movie, she makes a device that can detect vibranium. How? How is that possible? Because you don't have any vibranium, and only people who do have vibranium are in Wakanda. And there's a shield running around, a white dude with a shield running around with how do you get access? Because in order to make a machine that can detect something, you need at least a little bit of the thing in order to be able to detect it. And she would have zero access to it because vibranium is top secret. Buried in the vault and shield, top secret. And she's a teenager. She would have zero access to this. So again, this goes back to the whole. All right, so this goes back to the thing with the alien on Alien Earth. It's like the same people who just makes stuff just happens.
Yeah, stuff just happens.
So, and that's kind of how I'm feeling that this is gonna be. This shit just happens. Just
there's no consequences, no payoff. It just.
No, the script needs it to happen.
No stakes, yeah. The script just needs it to happen.
Yeah, so like, so this thing is just talking about the outfits. Yeah, it just nothing about this show was done over like well over a year ago, completely done. Special effects done, everything done over a year ago. They didn't want to put it out because ain't nobody gonna want to watch this. It'll be the same thing. It's gonna be like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We gotta put it out. They put it out just like those. We know that this is gonna fail. We're gonna try to see if we can limit the amount of failure it is, and it's gonna be the same thing with this. Because I wonder if they're gonna do what they did with Echo, where they just released everything at once. So they're like Echo, they released all the episodes just to get out of the way.
Yeah, just to get it out of the way.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be if they do it like week by week. Oh, it's really gonna like it's really gonna fizzle.
yeah, and I'm to the point where I have like no tolerance for this stuff, especially after watching like Solo Leveling, which is a very good show. After watching something like that, you kind of want all the other ones to be like that, where they everything, even though like even in that anime, he is overpowered, but he fits into why there's a reason why he is that, and you slowly like realize that as everyone else realizes that, because he doesn't know why this is, and for a while he didn't know how powerful he was. It's like, he's kind of off to the side kind of deal. So when you realize how strong he is when he really starts going after people who are super strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's built into the story. It builds up to this point. So it could probably turn all Dragon Ball Z at some point where everyone is just ridiculously overpowered and they're just screaming and hollering for no reason. It's like, I love Dragon Ball Z, dude, but bro, like you powering up and the villain just watching you do it just cause reasons. And the main two dudes, Vegeta and Goku, don't attack anybody at their full power because they want a challenge. Like, this dude wants to blow up the planet. It's like, what the hell? Why are you? And then everybody seems to be very cool with the fact that they're like that. Like Krillin and the rest of them is like, bro, the next time go around, how about you just go full power so I'm not getting my butt kicked for an hour while you decide that maybe I need to go all out now.
That's right. I don't know. It's like, gee, I could use some backup.
No, it's I don't know. I just don't have faith in this stuff. So do you know we 43 minutes in. I do want to talk about there's a thing that the creator of Smash Brothers said about how Japanese developers should handle like how they do stuff, because they're getting a lot of pressure from Western like folks to change how they do stuff. All right. So Super Smash Brothers creator says Japanese devs should simply pursue what they love because overseas fans love Japan's unique style and its distinct charm, which is true.
What's the headline? Let me read it again.
All right.
Creator says Japanese devs should simply pursue what they love. Oh, okay. Yeah,
because we like the it's manga and anime and Japanese games. We like them because of what they are, and they're getting a lot because they're so popular. They're getting usual
pressure or like
It's not from again, like what I keep saying, like every week. It's not from the people who wants to give you money. It's from these idiots who cannot figure out why the shit that they're pushing is failing. It's
I hope they don't listen to them.
Well, some of them, like, all right. So some of them were. All right. It's weird how some of them are. Okay. So the ones who have a American portion of their company, those are the ones who are
More likely to, yeah.
listen. So it's like Nintendo
Mhm.
America. Nintendo doesn't really listen that much, but they do a little bit here and there. But Nintendo of America is trying, because they're in Seattle, so they're trying to push a lot of crap on them. And it's the same thing with
Oh,
Sony
okay.
in
Uh-huh.
America. So
Yeah.
for a while, Sony was being run, basically like the PlayStation stuff was being run from California, right? Not
Oh,
Japan.
okay. Uh-huh.
So they got a new Japanese CEO, and he's like, no, we're gonna run everything from Japan from now on. So that's being cleaned up. So a lot of this stuff is being cleaned up, and so like with anime, their biggest problem though is the localization people. So you got to remember the type of people who get into these types of jobs.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
They're not uber conservative types of people. They're
Yeah.
the green haired, like
I know I could see where you're going with this. Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
what happens is they reinterpret what they're doing in Japan. They reinterpret it for an American audience of themselves. They don't actually care about all the other people who are letting them know clearly that they do not want any of this stuff at all. Not even a little bit. And so what's happening with that is because of the AI translation and how you've seen how they can translate from whatever language to English, and the AI will use that person's voice, so it sounds like they're speaking English.
English,
right?
uh-huh. Oh,
Right.
yeah, right. Uh-huh.
So we're going into the point where that little gatekeeper thing is starting to go bye-bye. Because they're realizing, because they're just sending stuff to America, they're not really paying attention, except for the point they're getting pushback. So imagine you put something out that people like, and all of a sudden you start getting this weird pushback. What they're telling you is like, why are you putting all this stuff in these things, right? And you're like, what are you talking about? We're not putting none of this, like none of our stories are like this. And then you see, it's like, oh, like, why are you like, and you probably figure out like, why the hell are you changing everything that we're saying into this other stuff that we're not actually saying? So
yeah,
I'm happy.
That's a big point of contention.
Right. And I've heard from a couple of older, same type, is like older Japanese developers who are like what is up with all of this? They don't really get this because they're making games from their perspective, and they're just letting it loose into the world, similar to how American developers used to do. And then they hired the green haired brigade who keeps telling them that no, you need to put all this stuff in the games. And like, no, they don't, because it's failing, because people don't want to see this.
I know. I hope Japan doesn't lose its charm.
Yeah. So, in offering advice to his fellow Japanese video game devs regarding the future of the industry, esteemed Super Smash Brothers creator Mashiro Sukurai, oh, said that wrong, says that rather than
Sakurai.
yeah, Masahiro Hiro Sakurai says that rather than wasting their time appealing to specific overseas markets, their best bet for continued success is to embrace their country's unique culture and creative identities. Yes, which is why people like it in the first damn place. He offered his thoughts on the topic of Japanese video game development while speaking to a Japanese news outlet Intex during the recent 2025 edition of the country's annual Art Encouragement Prize ceremony and celebration. Wow, say that? That's a mouthful. A government-sponsored event organized by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technologies Award. Okay. The Ministry of Education. Okay. See, this period, like, this makes it look like this all one thing, but I think this is Minister of Education, pause, Culture, Sports, and Science and Technologies Award. Dude.
That's a crazy name for an organization.
Right. So like the grammar and like you got to separate. Okay. That recognizes 11 artists from various mediums: drama, film, music, dance, literature, fine arts, broadcasting, popular entertainment, development of the arts, criticism, and media arts. Wow. Whose outstanding achievements have opened a new vistas in a given year. Honored at the event. Okay. Channel on creating games game channel where he spent years since the release of Super Ultimate Sora, providing the public his own personal insights into video game development. Sakudai took the beat following his win to answer a few in-text questions regarding the future of Japanese video game industry. Right, with the assertion that his host, the gaming market in China has been booming. Before being asked if he had, dude, do you have any thoughts on what direction the Japanese gaming industry should take in order to take period like in order to remain competitive against their East Asian neighbors? Sakudai opined, this is exactly my own idea. Like, this isn't exactly my own idea, but looking at the trends in the gaming industry, I strongly believe that Japanese creators should simply pursue what they love. There's been a time when American entertainment was hugely successful, and the people in Japan thought we should create something more Americanized. Yeah, that's before they hired all the blue-haired weirdos who screwed everything up. Dude, that's basically what happened. He continued per machine translator of in-text recap following provided by ChatGPT. Okay, that's interesting. There's definitely that kind of culture trying to align with the de facto standard. Products or standards have become widely accepted through market competition. However, I feel that overseas fans of Japanese games aren't necessarily looking for that. What they love is Japan's unique style and distinct charm. In other words, I believe that the ideal approach is for creators to make games that they truly want, and for those who appreciate them to enjoy them. To this end, when asked if he had any closing words of advice for those who hope one day to work in the industry, he declared, "The most important thing I want to say is do what you want freely." When I was creating my various shows on my YouTube channel, I always kept that in mind. Forcing my own views on others isn't a good approach. What I share is one way of thinking. It's not the absolute truth. As I mentioned in my video, my goal is to give people a boost so that they can find their own paths. What matters most is how individuals take that knowledge and apply it.
Preach it.
Yeah, and I hope that each person will push forward in the direction they believe and refine their work in their own way. But let's do our best together. Yeah, man, it's the whole saying of if you try to appeal to everybody, you will wind up appealing to nobody.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, all right. So we're gonna talk about the last thing is gonna be the Looney Tunes thing. But as an aside of that, Chuck Jones, one of the guys behind a lot of the Looney Tunes stuff, basically what they used to do was they would make stuff that they thought was funny. They would draw it out. They would sit there and crack each other up with jokes and all that stuff. Then they would draw it out, and the first time an audience saw it is when it was, how they used to do shorts in between the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time the audience would see it, and they would that's when they would know if it worked or not. Is that point? But everything they did because they thought it was funny. If other people liked it, great. If they didn't like it, hey, it didn't work. So, but that was the approach that they took. We like the stuff that we like because of what the things that are. Just like they learned with Star Wars. You try to appeal to more women. Well, you're never going to get the women who aren't interested in sci-fi. So trying to appeal to them by changing Star Wars into something that it's not, it only makes the fans and the women who are fans go leave because of what they like is how it was. So that's basically what he is saying. It's that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's people like manga for what it is. All right. So
I think they realize that, and I hope they don't, cave in.
Yeah, it really depends on where they're getting the pressure from. Like if they're getting the pressure from the corporates and all that stuff,
Yeah,
then that's when you run into a that's when you want a problem. Bro, and it's like they need to don't listen to all right, let me show you this before we get to the Looney Tunes thing and head out. This is what someone who is in the Mufasa. All right. She wants a Lion King spinoff.
What?
It's like, why?
Because everyone asked for that.
Nobody asked for the Mufasa. So there's no Lion Queen. There's no queen of a pride. No, the lion sleeps with all the lionesses until he gets too old. He gets killed off. There's a new one shows up and he sleeps with all the. There's no queen in the kingdom that doesn't exist. It's like, okay. I mean, of course, I would be up for that. Who would say no to that? Yeah, I guess there's always an opportunity. We were saying like the Lion King 1.5. There's already a Lion King 1.5. So again, she doesn't even know she doesn't know enough about the stuff that she's in to even know that. There's already a Lion King 1.5. Came out a long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, did you ever see
the 1.5? I did.
Right. I actually liked that. And it was actually a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
But it's like, so she does, apparently she just doesn't even know that actually happened already. So she don't know that there's no such thing as a Lion Queen, that nobody's going to go see that. Nobody went to go see Mufasa. So nobody's going to go see that. So to finish off this mortgage or, okay. Ready. Here we go. All right. Warner Brothers Discovery poised to abandon 95-year-old Looney Tunes legacy. They have started pulling off their stuff from Max. So like the Looney Tunes they've been pulling it off the site for some reason. Shocking rumor has been circulating recently that Warner Brothers may be considering dumping one of their most iconic brands. It hasn't always been smooth sailing for the company over the last decade. Is a genuine animated legacy in danger of like that? Okay, that's poorly written. Being kicked to the curb. Warner Brothers almost synonymous with animation in the entertainment industry. Their logo features every intro of the Spielberg brainchild Animaniacs. They've had in almost every Scooby-Doo series, 20 animated Renaissance Cartoon Network, but unfortunately shutting the studio down in August 2023. They're responsible for some of the most fundamental elements in a lot of people's childhoods. So why then does the WB have a will they, won't they relationship with their support of animated projects? The CN Studios is well reported at this point. They've canceled several animated shows in their Max service, including the burgeoning series like Infinity Train. Never heard of it. Animated Revival was short-lived on Hulu. More recently, our WB has removed the golden age of original Looney Tunes of 1930 to 1969 from Max. Although Disney does always hold true to its animated roots during this era of live-action reboot, at least their properties aren't at risk of being wiped from their library entirely. Most of the WB productions are either well received or critically acclaimed. So what thought process are leading the studio to make these creative decisions? You hired a bunch of green-haired weirdos who started interjecting stuff into these things that people aren't interested in. So you basically killed the DC animation part that people really, 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 really like. Then all of a sudden they start getting really, really weird. Like, have you seen the last bunch of DC animated movies?
No.
They're like really bad. I mean, like really bad, really bad. Like poorly written. They don't seem to understand the characters. Like really, really, really bad. And then the golden age of original Looney Tunes shorts, you have a lot of stuff in that is very, very much 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. You hire a bunch of blue-haired weird people. What do you think about? They're gonna think about stuff from the 1930s and 1940s. You think they're gonna think about that?
Of course.
They're not gonna They're not gonna like that. And then you're gonna have a whole bunch of them protesting and fussing and screaming and hollering and being very, very loud because anybody who likes this kind of stuff is not gonna be that vocal about this stuff. So you're gonna get a handful of people who are on Reddit or on X yelling and screaming and talking about racism and blah 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 blah. Because they are unable to put stuff into the context of which it was created. So it's like you're trying to put a modern spin on stuff that was created 70, 80 years ago. And so you take all that stuff off. You do not make anything new. So therefore you didn't get the children. So you stop making anything interesting and new that little kids will be into. Those little kids are starting to become teenagers. All of them watch nothing but YouTube. So, right. So then you put out something else. You've already pissed off the fan base who were fans of that by introducing nonsense into your stuff. It's like, I don't know why this is shocking. Unfortunately, things are about to get a lot worse for Looney Tunes. Rumor has been spreading throughout the industry, originating from Jeff Snyder of The Insider, that Warner Brothers is considering selling off the entire Looney Tunes franchise and a bundle deal with the shelved Coyote versus Acme project.
Wow.
Fans of the franchise will be extremely unnerved by this speculation. It had been hoped for many that the release of The Day the Earth Blew Up, Looney Tunes movie, this one, which I didn't even know this was a thing until like maybe a week ago. Be about to see a revival of 2D animation. Its first popular feature that Looney Tunes have received in years, but sadly, financial forces may be about to dictate the future of these characters. All right, so there's another. So this is on Yahoo Entertainment. All right, earlier this week was announced that Warner Bros. Discovery may finally be selling the distribution rights to the Coyote versus Acme to Catch Up Entertainment. Movie comes after Warner Brothers decided to shelve the complete movie for $30 million tax write-off rather than release it to the public. Okay. I'm told that the part of the reason the WB decided to sell Coyote versus Acme to Catch Up rather than take a tax credit a month before tax day, it is because the studio is trying to sell off the Looney Tunes altogether. There's been no official comment on the matter from Warner Brothers at this time. However, it is worth noting that the original Looney Tunes animated shorts, which ran from 1930 to 1969, were recently taken off Max. But the show is no longer viewed as a priority, as the streaming will prioritize adult and family programming. I do not know how the Looney Tunes is not friggin' family programming, but okay. Other spinoff shows, such as 2020 Looney cartoons, are still available. Okay. So they sold that movie, I guess, to Catch Up Entertainment following some internal restructuring. I wonder what the comments have to say about this. All right. Yeah, the Cinnamons, I can continue to watch old cartoons. I grew up watching every day. Absolutely insane for Warner Brothers to try and rid themselves of one of the things that made them such a big studio to begin with. Imagine if Disney tried to sell Mickey Mouse or DC tried to sell Superman. It's just bonkers. Bro, I don't get like why they make the decisions that these companies do. I still don't. Every week we have another story where it's like, why are you doing this? It's like, stop listening to the green-haired weirdos that you hired. Bro, anime is solo leveling. And I told you this today. It's so popular that it crashed 3 different websites. 3. Because people were trying to get it downloaded so much. It is 2D animation. Anime is pretty much 2D animation with a sprinkle of 3D animation mixed in. So Western companies trying to tell me that no one wants to watch 2D animation is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. It's like there's much evidence to the contrary that you guys just don't want to deal with. And I, for the life of me, don't understand that.
And it's something that, like, I don't know, they just, it's when it comes to money too, they really don't even care about that. And you would think that would be a deciding factor.
Because you hired a bunch of green-haired weirdos who are destroying every place that they work at. And then every place. Like I can't even think of one place that these people have gotten their hooks in that is still a viable medium. Science fiction. They got into that.
Video games.
Games. Tabletop games. Dude, they have killed Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards, Wizards of the Coast. They have everything. They have laid waste to every form of entertainment that they have gotten their hooks into. Everything. And people still listen to these. I'm like, what? The most popular stuff on planet Earth right now are things that they're not involved with. The most popular game right now is Marvel's Rivals. And and I just got to a pretty good point in Monster Hunter Wilds. There's like a little weirdness in there, but other than that, none. And super popular. On Steam had 1.3 million concurrent players. There is ample evidence for companies to stop listening to these people, but they still do.
That is insane. Yeah.
It is quite bewildering, to say the least.
That's the word, bewildered.
Bro, I remember Looney Tunes used to be a thing where old people loved it, young people. Like when I was a kid, you put it on, everybody's laughing. Old people are laughing, young people are laughing. That Tom and Jerry, that kind of stuff. Woody the Woodpecker. No, it was jokes. Now they're so worried about offending people that they don't want to do anything. It's actually kind of sad. It's sad, but it opens up the door for more independent people to step in. It's like, if you don't want to, I'm like, okay. Batman is super popular, but at one time, so was the Lone Ranger and Tarzan. They were more popular.
Good point.
Everything has its time in the sun.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, on that note, what you about to get into, Mr. Elton, before we go?
Probably prepare lunch for work.
Okay. And get up, chill out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, me too. I have some snacks. I am going to enjoy sleeping late tomorrow. But other than that, I like to thank everyone for paying it, for checking this out, or even the ones who peeked in and peeked out. So we do this every Sunday around 9:00 Western time, which is probably kind of late for everybody else, but you can check it out on the replay. So on behalf of myself and Mr. Elton here, I'd like to say goodbye. Later.
Deuces.